So today we're working on the only vehicle that mechanics hate more than their own vehicles. That's right, it's the wife's vehicle. What we're going to do today is we're going to bring this vehicle up. We're going to take off all the tires, put the snows on. But before we do that, we're going to take all of the 2-inch lowering kit from Cork Sport and we're going to put the stock springs back in. While I'm doing it, I'm going to check brakes, I'm going to check any wear in any of the joints and make sure her car is ready for winter. Do a little bit of undercoating with it, nothing too intense because she doesn't like it when I undercoat her vehicle, so I'll do it without her knowing. That's the way that husbands do and show their love. So I'll set up some time lapses and all that fun stuff, but what we're going to do is just get the tires off, and we're going to start at the back this time because the back goes much nicer than the front, so that way I can at least have something accomplished. Okay, so to get these coil springs out right here, what you gotta do is you gotta undo either that bolt right there or that one up there. Last time I did the upper ones, and I can't remember why, but I think there was a reason. So I think I'm gonna try to do the upper ones again. The bottom ones do look much easier to get at though. So do that on both sides, and then all you undo is this one bolt right here for the shock, and this all drops down, and then you just have to stick a socket up inside there and take that bolt out. So realistically, to do the back on both sides is only a total of about 6 bolts. So hopefully we can get all this done and then get this back together here shortly and move on to the front. A little bit of rust starting back here, which isn't bad. We live up here in Canada, but I've been telling Cassandra to get the car heavily undercoated, and you can see the bottoms of this car are still really good condition, and it is very, very thick on the undercoating side, and that's what I want. So I won't give it a good spray. All we will do is I'll do the spots that are starting to come up rusty, and when she's able to take it to get undercoated in the next 2 weeks, she'll take it as well. So undercoating is a must up here in Canada. Every derby car that I buy that is not undercoated, I usually just scrap because they're so rotted. Let's get going on this. So, as you can see there, I tried using the spring compressor because I forgot how I did this last year. Spring compressor won't work. What I gotta do is I gotta take all these little sway bar bushings out by hand, which really sucks because I gotta do them all with a small, tiny Allen key and a wrench. Now, all I did was undo the bottom control arm mount and I undid the shock mount. I undid the subframe mount because I am used to Ford Rangers where it actually has to hold the spring in, but you don't have to undo that, so I'm going to try to remember next time not to do that and leave that in there. Okay, so that's done, and then this side's the exact same. So all I'm going to do now is start putting it back together. And for that, if the hoist just makes it a little bit easier, but if you had just a jack and the car was up on jack stands, that works really well. But what I got to do, because I have a hoist, is I have this piece of tube right here. That what I do is I put it on the control arms and then I lower the car, which forces the arm up. But so because I am up so high, I have to have this piece of tubing. But if you were on the ground and your car was on jack stands, you could just use a jack to push that back up. So let's continue doing this. So there you go, the whole rear end is done, everything's tightened back up. I'm going to cover all this in oil and grease so that way those threads don't rust, so when spring comes I can put this all back in. All the stock springs have been put back in the car. All the brakes are good. You can see down inside there. She's still got quite a while left on those pads. Everything's back, and that took us about 35 minutes to do the back of this car. So now this car is back to stock height in the rear. So now we're going to move up to the front. And how we do the front is we undo this bolt and we take it out. We take out this little clip here that holds on the brake line. We take off that bolt right there, which is for the sway bar and the ABS sensor. And then there's 3 bolts at the top, and that takes the whole strut out. And then we have to compress the springs and take the strut apart and switch it all over to the older style. The older factory OEM non-lowering kit style. So let's lower this car down about 4 feet and start on that. So now we've got our car with the lowering kit off, the winter tires on, back to stock height, factory license plate bracket because she says it doesn't look right when the winter, and it's all undercoated. So that old saying, happy wife, happy life, is true. She's off to go make lunch for me, which would be nice. Total process took about an hour and 40 minutes to do that today. It took a little longer, oil in it and all that, but overall, about an hour and 40 minutes just to do the lowering kit. So, car's back to stock height for winter, and now it needs to go get an alignment at the GM dealer here in town.